Welcome to the Camp Guys, a podcast where we talk about the ins and outs of camp ministry. My name is Grayson Phillips, and in each episode, I'm going to lead us as we talk about different challenges we face in camp ministry and how we overcome them. So let's dive right into today's episode. Hey there, all you camp leaders, and welcome back to the Camp Guys. We are back in the studio with
Jay Oliver and the man of all times, Grayson Phillips.
Whoa, I don't know about all of that, but we are definitely glad to have y'all back listening to the podcast. We're sorry for this late podcast. As we're trying to balance things here at the camp, we are
sorry, but not sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry, because we're here. We're
doing
back.
Ministry.
We won't leave you waiting for too long.
Grinding.
So.
Grinding like all you guys are. I'm sure all you guys are still being faced with dramatic issues at your camps with COVID-19, and our hearts, go out for you because we're in the same situation, and we're praying for you guys. And if there's any way we can help you in any way, please feel free to email us. You can go to crowderscamps.com and get contact information. I think we got podcast at crowderscamps.com.
Yeah, podcast at crowderscamps will work. And you can also email us individually if you'd like at Grayson at crowderscamps.com and then Jay at crowderscamps.com. So you can reach us that way. But let's dive into today's episode. So today we are going to be talking about one of my personal favorite things, and that is worship. Yeah, we love worship here. So sometimes in the camp world, as most of y'all know, things change, things happen, especially this year. A lot of things change, kind of going with the flow, and you're called to do some things that you weren't really originally planning on doing. So one of those things I can talk about for this summer is I had to jump in, get a team together, and we had to lead worship, which is something we have not done. We've usually brought in people to lead our worship, but being from that, we learned from that as we went on through the summer.
But before you say all that, you are a great worship leader.
Yeah, I have led worship.
It's just normally we don't have a staff person on our staff that leads worship because it's mind-blowing. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
When you try to produce the level of production that we try to produce,
yes,
I like to say the words modern but yet rustic. So our worship is very modern. We have moving lights and all that good stuff. If you've seen any pictures on our website, you know what I'm talking about. But then it's rustic. We got the cabins, the whole camp feel to it. So today we want to talk about what me and Grayson are calling our 10 Commandments.
Yes.
Now this is don't go ultra spiritual on us just yet. We're trying to give you 10 nuggets about worship that we figured out and that we want to pass on to you guys.
Absolutely.
So, commandment number 1, Grayson.
Our first commandment of the 10 commandments of worship is music behind the focus. And what that basically means is that you never want to have time when there's not music playing, whether that being a track of really hype music, we both did the same thing. But that's exactly what you want.
Okay, let's give them an example. So, I get up to do a game, and all you hear is...
I can't do cricket sounds, but insert cricket sounds here.
But if you had, a audio person that from the beginning of summer you say, look, every time I get on stage, you pull this fader up and you have...
And this is so much easier than you think. I mean, you can literally go find an hour-long hype track that you keep on and you just turn it all the way down, so anytime someone's going up, you just slide that fader up, and it's just such an easy thing, and that one aspect will completely change your dynamic.
And if you have the same audio person all summer long, you also can train them that as you're doing like tribal competitions, screaming competitions, as the crowd gets loud, the music gets loud, and they will also start seeing, hey, I need to pull this down a little bit because they're starting to get serious and all that. So that's the front end of the service, but also the back end of the service is just as important for how that music going.
Whether it be someone on the pad and keys just playing some chords, just chord progressions as the preacher is wrapping up his message and delivering that call to altar or whatever he might be doing, or it might be someone plucking the guitar, just something that's continuing the flow musically.
Did you say plucking?
Plucking the guitar, is that not
Is that a new thing?
I think that's a thing. You pluck, I mean, yeah, because you strum and then you pluck.
I thought it was be picking.
Picking.
Plucking?
So anyways,
we'll move right along.
So that leads us right into our second commandment, which is transitions. These are so important. Whether it's that music transitioning going, whether it's one person leaving as the other person's walking up, you want to make sure the transitions are smooth, because that's what's going to change your worship atmosphere from just like a regular worship, kind of low budget, some worship atmosphere, to a professional grade. Is that transition that's keeping it flowing.
A lot of transitions have to do with lighting. And if you're at a camp where you do not have control of your lighting, I would encourage you to find control of your lighting. We have a couple windows in our worship building. They're blacked out. You know, we stuck a piece of foam in there with black cloth around it, duct tape it, and they're blacked out. So we have total control of our lighting. So I know some of you don't. I would just encourage you to figure out how can you get control, because that has a lot to do with your transitions. Because if you can't darken the room out, then you spoil the transition pretty much. And we didn't have a lot of transitions that's super. If you're a big drama camp, Now, I mean, you know, some of you guys are doing skits every night, and you love it, and that's part of the transitions. You know, how do you get people on and off stage and props, and all that? We're more worship focused here, where we might have a hype MC. We had a really good MC this summer that really killed it. But with stuff like that, you're either a drama camp or you're more of a games camp. Some of you try to be both. Maybe you don't do one well at all because you do try to do both. But those transitions, I think, start with your lighting and then progress to getting people on and off the stage. And being able to control both of those. We're so blessed right now, because I'm telling you, when I first started doing camps, you couldn't find countdowns, videos, and stuff like that. Now, one Google search or one yearly subscription, you have incredible resources of videos, countdowns. We do all of ours custom here at Crowder's Camps, but for you that don't have that technology, just find a 1 minute countdown and all that good stuff.
And anytime you're doing transitions, I mean, whenever you're doing a transition, it's just dead space. That leaves the chance for a student just to completely get out of the field of worship, to be looking around, noticing the cobwebs that you left up in the corners and stuff like that. So you want to keep them in that atmosphere of worship by transitioning from one thing to another. You got to keep their attention the whole time. So going into our third commandment, it is song count. So that's talking about not doing too many songs. That's one thing.
Hey man, let's do 15 songs.
Yeah,
this
I
week.
know. Call me out. That's one thing we ran into this summer. Is that I was just like, oh, I love this song. Let's do them all. And then nothing's worse than when you have students out there that can't worship because they're reading lyrics on a screen and they don't know the song. So when you're doing repeating songs, continue those songs they can learn throughout the week. So that by the last day, I mean, they're just screaming out, chanting those words because they know them by heart.
Here's a great nugget. All you guys should get a pencil out right now and write it down. I'm telling you, no new songs after Wednesday night.
Yes.
So let me break it down. We got day 1 camp, day 2 camp, day 3 camp. After the night session of day 3, no new cut songs whatsoever. And I'm almost close to say after that day 3 morning, no more new songs. But I'm giving you an extra night to throw in something else. You'll see the vibe of the kids and you'll be like, oh man, this song's working, or this song's not working.
And it's very easy to save like a really hype song for the last night and stuff. But one thing you'll find is that as you're going on through the week, there'll be songs that connect with the kids that the kids love, and you can bring those back on that last night to replace a hype song that you want to introduce on the last night.
We, this summer, I'm going to name a couple songs. We did a song called Best Friends. It's by Hillsong Young and Free. Never had heard it before. It just has come out probably in May. or maybe February.
Yeah, it was like right
something
before.
like that.
Yeah.
You let me listen to it. I liked it, but I didn't dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like camp dig it, but you did dig it, and man, it was a huge successful song. But no one had even never heard it.
Yeah.
So we rather here our theology is we rather come out with some songs they don't know that are brand new and hot, and make them hot.
Yep.
Because we want to lead and not just take, oh yeah, man, we've been doing that song for 2 years in our youth ministry.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to do. When they come to our camp, we want to give them something so fresh that we help lead their ministries when they get home. And again, for all you camp leaders out there listening, we are about 95% group based. So that's a little why you're hearing, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Who you leading? We have huge groups, groups that are bringing 70, 80, 200 to our camps, and they're going back to their student ministries and doing what we did.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where we want to be. So I think this year, Grayson, we maybe had 9 songs in our arsenal to do. And we would just keep rotating those guys in. We would change the flow of the services up where we would go fast to slow, but sometimes slow to fast. Yeah. Especially last night, we do a big celebration with my love language, confetti cannons. Anyway, all right, what's the next one, Grayson?
So next on we got number 4, which is knowing your audience. So that's very important. Whether you have a kids camp, you have some elementary schoolers, or you're running with middle schoolers and high schoolers, it's very important to know your audience when it goes to picking the songs that you're going to do. Although sometimes it's good to bring out those you're my brother, you're my friend, and those interactive songs, with middle schoolers and high schoolers. But I mean, middle schoolers and high schoolers are coming hungry, and they're wanting to worship. Yeah. And so they're wanting those more deeper songs, the more songs they can contemplate on. When kids, I mean, most of the time you interact, do some moves with them, and they're gonna have a good time and listen to the Spirit too.
Yeah, we do not waste much time with high school and middle schoolers. Yeah. Here at Crowder's camps. Yeah. Now, kids camps, they're dancing around, but we've even got a little more serious with them. The balance between kids camp and student camps, you don't want to create an emotional experience for kids, or they're going to all end up like me. I went down and gave my life to Christ when I was 8. I thought I really gave my life to Christ when I was 18. Yeah. But because of an emotional moment with my sister and my own father, I went ahead and said the prayer and all that, which it never hurts to say a prayer. But you know what? I don't want to be the camp that plays a violin and talks about hell for 2 minutes and all the kids get saved.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Leading into our 5th point, we have knowing your AV. So as Jay mentioned earlier, we're very blessed here. We got the moving lights, and we got all the hype AV, which is really cool to work with. But you want to know your AV before you start doing music or worship that has tracks in it, that although those can be done acoustically and stuff, you still want to know your AV and what you're working with so that you don't go in blind. And maybe you have a song that it really needs confetti and you don't have confetti. Like, you want to know what AV you have to work with.
Yeah, we have in-ear monitors. Yep. We have a digital board. We have a lot of AV. We're pretty high tech when it comes to AV. All right, guys, this has been this episode. You have to check the next episode for the final commandments and get your worship on with us here on the Camp Guys podcast.
What's up? It's your boy Grayson.
Hey, whoa. Hang on. No, that is not the intro.